What is going on, everybody? It's JetsCentral coming back with another video, and in this one I kind of wanted to dive into a topic that's been on a lot of Jets fans' minds since the Alex Smith trade went down. That's quarterback Kirk Cousins, and if the New York Jets should go out and pay him or give him that long-term deal to become the team's franchise quarterback. Now, of course, we have fans on both sides of the spectrum. You know, the fans that really want him, and we have the fans that don't really want him. And of course, I'll tell you where I stand in a second. But first, let's talk about, the pros and the cons of Kirk Cousins, if Kirk Cousins winds up being a New York Jet. Because there will be pros and there will be cons. The first pro, or the main thing I kind of want to dive into, the most important thing, first and foremost, is that I believe if Kirk Cousins is a New York Jet, he will be better than every quarterback that the Jets have had in the past 15 to 20 seasons. He's better mechanically, he is smarter, he has had more success in the NFL than in the past 20 seasons, other than Brett Favre, but you guys know what I mean, success with the Jets. So when you look at that and you take into consideration that this will be a free agent signing, that is insane. How rare is it that you get a franchise quarterback in the free agent market? I mean, Kirk Cousins has dominated the last 3 seasons. He's been durable. He has pretty much started every single game. They haven't really went deep into the playoffs, but at the end of the day, it's a team game. So Kirk Cousins, realistically, is a better option than any quarterback that the Jets have had on their roster in the past 20 seasons. That is insane. And to look at him in the free agent market and to say, oh, wow, we can get him, we can afford him, we have a hole at the quarterback position, and we don't have to give up any players or draft capital, that is crazy. That is a huge, huge plus. Because Kirk Cousins, I do believe, is a franchise quarterback. So the next pro I kind of wanted to talk about is that if Kirk Cousins winds up being a New York Jet, that means we could go best player available at slot number 6. We won't have to go after a quarterback. We won't have to, kind of mess around, fiddle with, maybe trading up and giving away stuff to go up and get another quarterback. Another pro of Kirk Cousins is we could go best player available. Whether it be Bradley Chubb, pass rusher, an offensive lineman, help fill plug a hole on this offensive line, which has been leaky at times the past couple seasons. Maybe get a cornerback in Minkah Fitzpatrick. Saquon Barkley could fall. There's so many different possibilities at that spot, at the 6th spot in the NFL draft. If we have a quarterback on the roster, we won't be forced into taking one. We won't be forced into playing the game of musical chairs with the draftable quarterbacks. If Mike McCagnon has his heart set on one and he gets picked by Cleveland or Denver or the New York Giants or Buffalo, or somebody trades up to come and draft him, we're not screwed. We are still in a good place as far as the draft goes. We can get a solid starting player. There's actually a lot of pros. Another one, it just came to my mind now, is that he's better than every single quarterback on the roster that we had last year. He's better than Josh McCown. He is miles better than Bryce Petty, and Christian Hackenberg doesn't even belong in the same conversation as Kirk Cousins. That's actually looking like a wasted draft pick. So it is a instant upgrade at the quarterback position. We don't have one of these situations like the Redskins are going through right now, where it's, oh, are we actually getting an upgrade from going from Kirk to Alex Smith? We don't really know. He might, but he might not. No, this is an obvious upgrade. Kirk Cousins is much, much better than the 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Another quick thing I want to bring up too is that Jeremy Bates comes from the Shanahan coaching tree. The system that Jeremy Bates is going to be running in New York fits Kirk Cousins like a glove. I mean, Kirk Cousins would come in seamlessly and fit this scheme. This system is built. Kirk Cousins can fill this system and play really well and excel in it because he already has. Cousins has been around a lot of great coaches. Jay Gruden, great offensive coaches, I should say. Jay Gruden, Sean McVay, Shanahan. That's a lot of knowledge right there surrounding the offensive position. So Kirk Cousins comes into the Jets system already having a great understanding of the playbook, of what we want to do, and can also kind of pull and tug from what he's learned before from other great coaches in the NFL, I should say. The last thing I kind of want to talk about as far as, a good thing about Kirk Cousins is that the New York Jets will not have to develop a young quarterback, which is something they have, quite frankly, sucked at the past 15 years. Mark Sanchez wasn't developed. Taj Boyd wasn't developed. Bryce Petty, not developed. Christian Hackenberg, not developed. Geno Smith, not developed. Greg McElroy, not developed. All of those guys were draft picks by the New York Jets. All of them not developed. All of them didn't work out. So you look at it and you look at that potential problem and say to yourself, you know, if you're one of those guys that are worried about if the Jets take Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen or Baker Mayfield, any of these guys, and say to yourself, you know, hopefully we can develop him because we don't want him to be the next Geno Smith, being, you know, force him or throw him to the fire and him having not having any sort of coaching to develop his game. He has no growth as a quarterback. You know, if you're one of those guys that worry about that problem, that goes away with bringing in Kirk Cousins. So there's a lot of good stuff if Kirk Cousins does come to the New York Jets. But, of course, there will be some bad. The number one bad, the con, I should say, is the contract. You know, the contract, probably the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is you have to pay him over $100 million. Sorry, that's what it is. That's just the norm in today's NFL. Matt Stafford over $100 million, Derek Carr's over $100 million. It just seems like the next man up is in line to be the highest paid player in the NFL. Granted, the Jets do have the space, we do have the money to pay Kirk Cousins, and it's not we're not going to be in cap hell or anything like that if we do go out and get Cousins. But there is just a pause. There is somewhat of a concern of, okay, we are going to fork over literally $100 million to one player. That makes you kind of pump the brakes a little bit and say to yourself, is this worth it? Or should we just go and draft a guy and hopefully develop them and pay him a lot cheaper and maybe has a higher ceiling? So that does come up, you know, it's a red flag. You know, the contract is a red flag. It's something you have to deal with. Another con would be is that nothing in the NFL is a guarantee. You know, other than really Drew Brees and Alex Smith, what quarterbacks have done well with their original team and then go to their second team and do like extremely well? You know, other than Alex Smith going from the Niners to the Chiefs and Brees going to the Chargers and the Saints, there's not really many quarterbacks that kind of come to mind that I can think of that dominated in one team, went to another team and just did even better. You know, so that is of course that's not really a red flag or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, you know, if you want to take a look back at history might be telling you something in that department. So overall, the Kirk Cousins thing is really, really interesting. Really interesting debate. I love hearing both sides of the argument, you know, because both sides have great points. You know, now here's where I kind of stand on the whole situation. If the Jets were to go out and sign Kirk Cousins, you know, if I were to wake up and I see the New York Jets make an offer, Kirk Cousins, he accepts, it's 100, probably, I'm going to say it's probably going to be in the ballpark, 135 million, probably 90 million, 95 million guaranteed. That's probably what I would assume that Kirk Cousins would get by the New York Jets. If I were to wake up and see that, would I be mad? No, I would not. I think Kirk Cousins is a franchise quarterback. I think he's durable. I think he's smart. I think he's mechanically sound, and he's obviously dominated in the regular season. Like I said before, the only thing that I would kind of hold my breath at or kind of pump the brakes on is he is 30. He's going to be 30 years old, and we're going to give him a ton of money for, you know, yes, he's still in his prime, but we're going to get him on the back half of his career. We're not getting him at 23. We're not getting him at 24. We're getting him at 30. So if this guy goes and blows his knee out in 2019, that is a horrible, horrible investment. But of course, you can make the argument that it's football and it could happen to anybody. So would I be mad? No, I would not be mad. I would be pumped. I would support Kirk Cousins, and I would actually be really, really happy. You know, the Jets have finally got a quarterback that we can rely on. He's going to start every game. There's not going to be a contract issue or anything like that. He's not going to cause any rifts within the locker room. He's going to come in. He's going to work hard. He's going to do his job, and hopefully that would translate to the field. But if I was running the New York Jets, I would be interested in Kirk Cousins, but this is what I would do. I would save the money, and I think I would use that money and I would address other needs: cornerback, center, maybe running back, maybe wide receiver. these positions are huge positions of needs, considering, and pass rusher too. You know, I forgot to mention that. Defensive end. We haven't had a true edge rusher in quite some time. You know, and there are going to be some guys that can come in and be great for this New York Jet team. Trumaine Johnson, Malcolm Butler, Ziggy Ansah, Lawrence from the Cowboys. Hell, Le'Veon Bell might be a free agent. Jarvis Landry, Allen Robinson. There are a ton of notable names out there. So if I was the New York Jets, I would spread the money in the free agent pool. I would target Malcolm Butler. I would take a look at Ziggy Ansah. Take a look, see what you can get. And I would draft a quarterback. I would go after Josh Rosen extremely hard. I would want to make Josh Rosen the new quarterback of the New York Jets. He's a cheaper option than Kirk Cousins. He is younger than Kirk Cousins. You can make the argument that he has a higher ceiling than Kirk Cousins. So overall, that's what I would do. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm just saying that's what I would do if I was running the team. Let me know down in the comment section where you guys kind of fall on this argument. What would you do and how you would feel if Kirk Cousins winds up being a New York Jet. So thank you so much for watching, and go Jets.